On March 16th, a concert took place in Yeouido Park, hosted by the three major television networks in Korea: KBS, MBC, and YTN. In this concert, famous singers like Lee Seung-hwan, DJ DOC, Lee Jeok, and Lee Eun-mi appeared, and popular entertainers like Kim Jae-dong also participated. They did not hesitate to donate their artistic gift with free will. Nearly 20,000 people gathered despite of the rainy weather, and the crowd stayed enthusiastically till late at night. However, the most interesting thing about this event was actually the title of the concert: a request concert for voluntary resignation of the Dumb and Dumber presidents. Why on earth did the media of Korea, including the three major television networks mentioned above, have to host such an extraordinary concert? On January 30th, 2012, MBC rushed into a strike. On March 6th, KBS joined the strike. On March 8th, YTN joined the strike. On March 15th, Yonhap News as well went on strike. Within the last 50 days, three major broadcasting companies and one major news agency started or joined official strikes. Last week, Reporters Without Borders endorsed the walkouts of the Korean press. If you look at the reason why the RWB endorsed the walkouts, you can grasp the cause of the strike that is taking place right now. The Korean press has an issue in engaging freedom of speech because there are taboo issues that are just not meant to be covered. Already in media outlets like TV and newspapers, self-censorship is taking place. Such deeds are done by the desk by commanding the journalists not to report on certain issues, or coercing the journalists to report on issues with an intended certain angle. Such deeds could look like an internal problem of an organization, but this kind of act is indeed a plain violation of the right to cover a story, and furthermore, the freedom of speech. Since the Lee Myung-bak administration came to power in 2008, the freedom of speech has begun to be harmed at an alarming rate. The CEOs of the three major broadcasting companies and one major news agency were appointed in close connection with the president, Lee Myung-bak. Through closely connected presidents, the MB administration controlled the press and censored reports and stories, including reports on the Four River Restoration Project, the FTA, and the Cheonan ship incident. It became hard to find unbiased reports on politically sensitive issues. On certain cases, it was not even possible to cover a story. Journalists who resisted such attempts to violate freedom of speech had to face undiscriminating disciplinary actions, such as dismissal or suspension. Furthermore, journalists often had to face indictment from the prosecution. The first displaced worker from such attempts was Jung Yeon-ju, fired on August 11, 2008, the former president of KBS. However, after a 3.5 years worth of lawsuits, Mr. Jung got the Supreme Court's verdict, voiding the dismissal of his presidency in KBS last February 23rd. Since the MB administration, approximately 249 journalists have been submitted to disciplinary measures, and 61 journalists have been indicted. This year, January 1st, KBS management took severe disciplinary action against 13 union members on account of the strike in 2010. MBC management is also in process of taking severe disciplinary action against union members on account of the strike that has started since the 30th of January. MBC management has already dismissed 2 executive union members, Park Sung-ho and Lee Yong-ma, while suspending 8 other union members. In addition, MBC management sued the union for damages for $3.3 billion and took legal action against union executives, seizing their property to avert the strike through litigation. If the strikes by the journalists' union should not succeed, the management, appointed by the MB administration, will succeed in blocking the mouths of the journalists through litigation and disciplinary action, thus damaging the freedom of speech. What's the standpoint of RWB on this matter? RWB cannot accept the grounds for dismissals of the journalists. The dismissed journalists have only been leading the strike on behalf of freedom of speech and independence of the press. Dismissing the journalists to silence the justifiable voices of demands as a journalist is nonsense, and such disciplinary actions cannot be tolerated. Therefore, we fully support this walkout. We believe the dismissed journalists should be reinstated quickly. 2012. More and more journalists in Korea are leaving fields voluntarily, joining the battlefield of a strike. To fulfill the obligation that we, journalists, should fight for freedom of speech and unbiased broadcasting, we stand here on streets, on strike. Please do know that we, the RWB, fully support your fight for freedom of speech and information. We shall never withdraw our support for you and will never stop requesting the Korean government to guarantee the freedom till the press in Korea gains the real independence from the government. You have our endless support. There is no need to question whether the strike of the press could succeed or not. Because we have to succeed for the democracy of Korea.